What's going on, guys? It is Monday, June 29th, or whatever day you're watching this video on. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far, and if you're watching it in the morning, which this is hopefully when this will be posted, you better be having a good day so far. But let's just go ahead and get into the topic at hand. So this is going to be regarding the most recent remaster we've seen, which is actually going to be the Spongebob rehydrated remaster. And while some of the reviews I've been seeing about it, mostly just poke at it, give it like average to like okay reviews, is just because the game is kind of dated and it's too easy. It is a kid's game after all, so I'm not sure what they were looking for there, but rest assured the game's alright for what it is, and what it is just that, a remaster of a game we all played probably, I believe, a decade ago it was released. So that got me thinking, okay, from the games that we've seen remastered, right, I wrote it down on this little handy dandy note, not this one, but this one. We've seen Spyro, Spongebob now, Crash, Demon Souls, I believe is one of the definitely more recent ones based on that PlayStation reveal. Ocarina of Time was remastered on the DS. Modern Warfare 2's campaign got remastered. The Master Chief Collection, of course, is what I consider probably the best remastered collection you can get. Resident Evil games are starting to get remastered. Tony Hawk just most recently got announced to get a remaster for Pro Skater 1 and 2, which is going to be sick. And Final Fantasy 7 got a complete and total remake / remaster. I was considering not putting that one on the list, but it is being, resold, that same story. But it just, for the record, it is a remake. So once again, alright, we got this list of games. What deserves to be remastered? And I was thinking, there are so many good games, great games, and even terrible games that could be remastered and brought to this generation of players' eyes. And some of the ideas I've gotten were, okay, let's just start, right? Let's just start from the beginning. Banjo Kazooie. I think Banjo Kazooie probably, I mean, if you want to, Banjo Tooie, because God forbid we get an actual new Banjo game besides Nuts and Bolts, because we don't talk about that one. We could just at least get a remaster based on just how we saw Banjo look like in Super Smash Bros, because he's one of the latest characters added, which is super awesome, by the way. Based on that look that he got is so freaking good. That's literally the exact look that we need. Like if you look at the Nuts and Bolts Banjo and the Smash Banjo, it's like this is the perfect iteration. That's what we need to be brought up into a remake. You know what I mean? I think that would be near flawless if the game holds up today. You know what I mean? That game would be fantastic to be seen remade in its beautiful art style and everything else. Super Mario 64. I've seen a lot of rumors recently regarding because Mario's anniversary is coming up. A bunch of games are going to be remade / remastered. I think 64 is just, while we have seen it on the DS, I think it definitely needs a return to form on the Nintendo Switch. But with that DS remake, it did have added. It was a remake. I use the word remake because it is a remake, because it added Yoshi, Wario, and Luigi as playable characters, opposed to the Nintendo 64 version, which was just him, Mario. So, in my opinion, at this point, since we've already seen that different gameplay, like with those other characters on the DS version, you might as well remaster that and make that the standard. But I wouldn't be upset at all if it was just like the classic N64, just Mario, no side characters, and that was the remake. I think that game, it's considered a GOAT, so it definitely would deserve a proper remaster, and I think people would love to see it. The GTA games come to mind for sure. San Andreas, I think, is that, and Vice City. I think those are, well, let's just say Vice City, because we just saw San Andreas on GTA 5. we just saw it. It was, 2013, but I rest my case. I think Vice City would be really sick to see remade. That specific characters. That is a big project though, remaking a Grand Theft Auto game, because I'm assuming if you were to do that, it would have to be just as much content, or not necessarily, I mean content, yeah, but like just as much, like a lot like that. The mechanics and everything that's in GTA 5 would have to be inserted into those old games, and that's pretty much making a new game in of itself / remaking it. But if there was a way to make it where it was literally every single thing in Vice City except the graphics were like right now, I'm not sure. Because I say that out loud, I think, like I said, I feel like you wouldn't be doing it justice unless you did put in that stuff, all that features and content from GTA 5. So, if you were to remake it, perhaps you're better off just upping the graphics, just so you don't waste every resource you have, as opposed to just making the next game, GTA 6, if that makes sense. I'm obviously rambling here, thinking about what makes a good idea on the spot, but next game, Skyrim, obviously deserves a remaster. Just popped my freaking jaw. No, not Skyrim. It's probably gonna get remastered, but I think Morrowind and Oblivion, Morrowind more specifically, I'd actually never played that one, but just because it's older and it's looking super dated now, rightfully so, that would be really, really sick to see remade. Oblivion, I've dabbled in the Oblivion action, and that would be pretty neat to see. But just given age-wise, Morrowind would, I think, make the best case for a remaster. My personal, there's a lot of good games, right? Like I said, there's a lot of really great games that could be remastered, but something that speaks to me so fondly would be the Tony Hawk games. So we got Pro Skater 1 and 2 being remastered. But if we get Underground 1 and Underground 2, or even just Underground 2, which I consider to be the best Tony Hawk game, I would 100% buy that day one. Maybe $60, that would be a big feat, but $30, $40, instantaneously. But if we're going even bigger than that, I think, personally, they should just go down the route that the wonderful Tony Hawk community has gone about, and they, just for context, ready? There's a Underground 2 mod where it's called Tony Hawk's Underground Pro, Thug Pro, and they took pretty much every map from Pro Skater 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe some of Project 8's, Underground 1 and 2, American Wasteland, and I think that's all of them. They took all those games, used Underground 2's mechanics, and you can play on all these maps, like online. Granted, there's no story mode or anything like that. You just free skate, and you can do the skate challenges and whatnot, points and everything. It's one of the coolest things I've ever played. It's so insane going back into Pro Skater 3, which is unfortunately the only Pro Skater I did play. I didn't play 2. I know 2 is regarded as the best, but sorry. But going back to Pro Skater 3's maps and Underground 1, American Wasteland even, it's just a super, super awesome experience. And with that, if we could remake all of those games into one super collection and just call it the Tony Hawk Collection, or Tony Hawk Professional Skater instead of Pro Skater, I don't know. That's $60. I would 100% get that for $60. And if somebody could make it where it's each campaign, you get the classic mode of the old games and the campaign on the newer games, because they actually have the story in the later installments, that would be such a bang for your buck, in my opinion. And the last but certainly not least list of games that just jumped to my mind as far as remasters go would definitely be Star Wars. Any of them. Mostly. Think about it. Let's start with the big one. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. 1 is literally regarded as the best Star Wars game That would I can't believe we not only have we not seen another Knights of the Old Republic KOTOR, but we haven't even seen these like talked about being revived. You know what I mean? And people would most certainly get hyped to see these games with the graphics we have now. You know, with Battlefront 2's graphics, Fallen Orders even. God, and the next gen is coming up, and obviously we get your PC guys that can see the potential of graphics. But now that we have next gen coming up, we can make it so beautiful looking, and update. I mean, if you update the mechanics once again, it becomes a remake and not a remaster. But if you update the mechanics, you can make it more up to date with this generation of gamers, and that look, of course, won't be, because you know there's the young guns that will look at how the game looks and they're like, that's freaking ugly. I'm not gonna play that. You know, get them all to play these classics. So Knights of the Old Republic. Iffy about this next one. I did write it down. Republic Commandos. It'd be really sick to see that remastered, but I'd much rather see a sequel to that. The name Imperial Commandos has been tossed around for a long time, but that type of squad play in a Star Wars universe was a very fun adventure to go through, for lack of a better term. Very awesome experience, especially because you were the clones and they're sick. Specifically the Commandos. I said this when Battlefront 1 came out. Battlefront 2, 2005, should 100% be remastered today. If anything, I think they should EA make their Battlefront 3 their vision, and then quite literally take Battlefront 2 and all of its mechanics and keep it the exact same and remaster it with the beautiful look of today's games. I think it might be slightly bold to say, but I think that might have a better population than, like a player population, than a newly released Battlefront by EA specifically. I think maybe because I have played Battlefront 2 fairly recently, and the gameplay kind of like, there's some things there that are like, man, this could be tweaked in there, this and that. But I still, just the love for that game is just so surreal that seeing that all over again and just a beautiful graphics would be astounding. And people would definitely cling on to that. I think would cling on to that longer than EA's take. Unless EA's take is actually fantastic this time around, because they've botched it twice now. They fixed it up. I know it's better now, but on release they definitely botched it. So with all that being said, it begs the question, why did you pick those games and not this game? Or, you know, what even deserves, like, what does that mean to deserve a remaster? And I thought a lot about that, and I was like, damn, there's a, because don't get me wrong, I know there'll be some games I left off that you guys would definitely like to see remastered on the list, but there's no limit. Although, for the record, I'd like to say I'm more for new ideas than retreading old ideas, but they're being made anyway, so this is why this is even being made. Rest assured, the question is, what deserves it? And I had wrote down here my thoughts. I had said, let's compare it to a movie, right? With a movie, and you remake it, or rather try to capture that old magic, it's just not the same. There's something about it, whether it be, of course, the different actors, the charm of it, because some movies being remade now have like that charm and just kind of scream industry, if you will, like, we want your money. So movies have that, but with a game, it stands the test of time. You don't need, unless you, of course, you were getting new voice actors in it, but you don't need to get new VAs and just retread. Like, you don't need to restart. You're just bringing this old game from years and years ago to a newer generation and to the same fans. You're bringing these old games to this new generation that haven't even had the chance to experience, let alone own the console that these old games are on, while also, of course, bringing it to that audience that played it when they were young. And it would be amazing to see, like, the younger gamers see what they think about, like, a KOTOR or the Tony Hawk games, because those were just so pivotal in their time and when we were growing up, right? And we just don't hear about them nearly as much, unless of course we're talking about the greats. So seeing those brought back would be I think 100% worth it, you know? Just in this little age of rehydration we have going on, calling back to Spongebob, of course. And I will admit, it's going to be kind of tough, just off the cuff real quick, before I end this. I think it's going to be really tough / interesting to see what games come back and like we play them and they're like, oh, this is not as good as I remember. You know what I mean? Like people are gonna get on it and be like, this is fun. Okay, and then they just hop off. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of a game where I played that didn't hold up as well as I remembered. But this wasn't remastered, but my brother and I were playing Rainbow Six Vegas 2 from 2008, I believe. This is a game, that's how old it is. And I was playing and I was like, damn, this is not nearly as pretty as it looks. And the gameplay is kind of iffy. So, with that, like I said, I would absolutely love to see which games get panned for, like SpongeBob. I said this at the beginning, actually. Like, SpongeBob is getting panned for its easy gameplay and just kind of repetitiveness, and I'm thinking, that's the game though. That's what you signed up for. What did you want? Like a difficulty tweak or something? Like a difficulty setting to a SpongeBob game? It's a kid's game at the end of the day, but the camera cut out, so that's my bad. If the edit's weird, but so I'd like to see what you guys think of which games deserve not only a remake but a remaster. So, for example, remember, remake, new gameplay. Pretty much new gameplay mechanics, but still like adhering to that original feel of the game the best they can. Same story, if it does have a story. Bringing it on over to the current generation with that polish. So that's the remake. But what remaster would we like to see? You know, that's the same thing. You know, polish. We want the polish and everything to make it look up to date. But instead this time, it's just the same exact gameplay mechanics. Just brought over. Let me know. And that's it for the video, guys. I know it was a short one, but like I said, leave a comment below. I'd love to see your responses. And like the last videos, I'm going to leave you with a song that's going to be this week's theme, that's going to carry us on through these trying and troubling times. You know what I mean? Be back next week with a video for you guys. And I'm starting to get some of my other projects done that are a little bit more involved and not so discussion-y, not so rambly as well. I cannot wait to share that with you guys. So stay tuned, subscribe if you want to see it, of course, and until next time, this is the Bows, signing out.